You do not need to create a lengthy course to make an impact with your audience. In fact, sometimes a shorter, more focused course can be just what your audience needs to get results. I'm Amy Porterfield, ex-corporate girl turned CEO of a multi-seven-figure business. But it wasn't all that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the budget, and the time to focus on growing my small but mighty business. Fast forward past many failed attempts and lessons learned, and you'll see the business I have today. One that changes lives and gives me more freedom than I ever thought possible. One that used to only exist as a daydream. I created the Online Marketing Made Easy podcast to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you do the same. If you're an ambitious entrepreneur or one in the making who's looking to create a business that makes an impact and a life you love, you're in the right place, friend. Let's get started. Hey there, Amy Porterfield here, and welcome back to Online Marketing Made Easy. I'm excited to dive into today's topic, but before we do, I have a question for you. Well, first, let me tell you a quick story. So recently, I was on the lake with Hobie, and we were in our boat, and it was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous day, and we were just kind of floating around, enjoying it. And out of nowhere, I tell Hobie, I can't wait for fall. I can't wait for fall. I love fall. I have to say October is my favorite month. And if you've ever been to Tennessee in October, you will never want to leave. The challenge is fall doesn't stay long enough, right? But it's the most wonderful time of the year is October in Tennessee. So I was telling Hobie, I can't wait for the fall. And he's like, hey, babe, we are on the lake in our boat. The sun is shining. We're playing some good music. Scout has become a boat dog. So he's just like loving it. He's like, right now is perfect. Stop wishing away right now. Ugh, kind of got me in my gut. I was kind of embarrassed. I rarely get embarrassed in front of Hobie, but I'm like, yeah, I just wished away the whole summer and fast forwarded to the fall. But the summer, there's so many special things that are happening. So my question for you is, what's something that you can be really present for and like really appreciate right now that's happening in your life? Like something like present right now that you're not wishing you were somewhere else, wishing it was later in the year, wishing you were at the end of the year and you hit all your goals or whatever, wishing this launch was over, whatever you might do to kind of like look forward. What about right now? What's something that's really good right now? Just wanted to share that with you because I needed a little reminder myself recently. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. If you caught last Tuesday's episode, you know we're in the middle of a special series, the Myth Buster series. We're on a mission to prove that just about anyone can create a successful digital course if you have a desire to do so. I don't think anyone should create a course, meaning, listen, if it's not something that you're super excited about, if it's not something that you feel will be such a good asset to your business, then yeah, you probably want to explore a little before you dive into it. But I've never come across somebody that after a conversation about what they do, their expertise, what they love, who, they serve, if I'm talking in a business sense, to not be able to say, oh, you've got a course in you. And I've just seen it over and over again. So if you've ever been curious about digital courses, you've created digital courses, you're wanting to this year, this is the episode for you. I'm passionate about digital courses, not because of digital courses. I love them. I think they're great, but really it's what a digital course can do for you in your business. I believe that a digital course creates a freedom-focused business because once you create your course once, you can launch that same course over and over again. Sure, you can make tweaks, update it, but you're not starting from scratch, meaning you're not wasting a bunch of money, always starting over, and you're not wasting a bunch of time starting from scratch so that you can make money more easily with the same product over and over again. I could go on and on about this, but I've already done that on the podcast. So the thing is, it always surprises me a bit when I hear people hesitating to create a course because I'm just like such a big fan of it. However, I've had many conversations with my students and with my audience members who don't have a course. And there's these 5 reasons that keep coming up again and again. And if you've been following along, you know what they are. But if you're kind of new to this Myth Buster series, I'm going to tell you what they are. So, number one, we already covered a few weeks ago. It's the belief that your audience is too small. And I busted through that myth, giving a lot of examples of how you can create a successful digital course, like make money with it, with an email list of 500 people. I've seen it done over and over again. So, number two, this is a classic one, comes up. I don't have enough time. That's a big one. I don't have enough time. We will be talking about how you can find the time and how you do not need as much time as you think to get it done. Number three is feeling like you are not credible enough or you don't have the expertise. And I teach this thing called 10% edge, where you absolutely do not need more knowledge or expertise to create your course. And today we're tackling number four, the worry that you don't have enough content to fill a digital course. We're going to bust this myth wide open in today's episode. And then next week, we're going to wrap up this series with number five, the concern that it's too expensive and you don't have enough money to create a digital course. I feel like that's the easiest one to bust through, and I'm going to tell you why, but we'll do that next week. But let's debunk this idea today that you just don't have enough content, or maybe you think you need a mountain of content to fill up an entire digital course. So first of all, it's not about the quantity of content in your course. It's about the quality and how well it solves a specific problem for your audience. You do not need to create a lengthy course. If you're multitasking, come back to me. I want you to hear this one. You do not need to create a lengthy course to make an impact with your audience. In fact, sometimes a shorter, more focused course can be just what your audience needs to get results. And let's be honest, no one wants to go through a huge long course. I mean, my course has multiple modules, and I wish I could make it shorter and still get the results that I promise. I can't, believe me. I've worked on this course for many, many years. What's in it is necessary, but through the years, I have pruned it because I've had this course since 2019, and every year or every other year, I'm making it better. I'm re-recording it, and I tend to take things out to make it as easy as possible to get through. People want the easiest path from point A to point B. So the goal is not a bunch of content. It's actually like, let's get them to the results as fast as humanly possible. So that's really what I'd rather you focus on. How do I get them results quickly versus how do I add so much content to prove that I know my stuff and to give support and make sure that like whatever I charge for it, it's worth. Those are the thoughts you do not want to think about when you're thinking about what you're putting into your course. All about results. The thing is, people are busy and they, again, often prefer concise, actionable content over the long-winded explanations. When I first started creating courses, it was very customary. This is like 15 years ago, to like make hour-long videos, several of them in one course. So you get into the course and you go through like 20 videos and they're an hour long each. That doesn't work anymore. I teach my students, let's do short, concise videos. Let's say you need to teach something and it takes you an hour. It's truly going to take you an hour to teach because it takes what it takes. Like, I'm not asking you to cut something out that's really important. So let's pretend whatever you're teaching in a certain module is going to take you a full hour. We're going to do 15-minute videos. We're going to help people pace quickly so they feel like they're making progress versus watching an hour-long video. And the reason for that is people want to move through your course quickly, meaning you do not need to throw in a bunch of content in order for this course to be valuable. Your course doesn't need to be 40 hours of content. In fact, some of the most successful courses that my students have created, they are really short and there's no fluff. Like, think of yourself as a GPS. You're not there to show your students every possible route. You're there to guide them on the fastest, most effective journey. So you're the GPS that's getting them there the easiest, most effective, fastest way. That's the content you're going to put in your course. And here's the truth. Your knowledge, your unique perspective, and your ability to explain concepts in a way that resonate with your audience, that's what makes your course valuable, not the number of hours of video content or the thickness of your workbook to support the course. Now, I do want to talk about how you can create great content quickly and easily, because I think that is also part of this. You have your content, and you're going to start putting it together in a really good outline. I teach my students how to put their content together in an outline, modules, lessons, what you're going to teach, flesh it all out, but don't create it. And then I teach my students how to pre-sell it and how to launch it. And once they've made money, now they're going to deliver it week by week. They're creating that module by module, week by week after they make money. So number one, that is a huge time saver. So when I talk about the myth buster, I don't have enough time. That's one of the strategies I teach. But also, you don't have to get all your content created, recorded, edited all at once, because that's overwhelming as well. But I do like to talk a little bit about how to create great content quickly and easily so you don't get caught in too much content, overwhelming content, and you don't move forward and launch your course. So one of my favorite strategies is to start with just one piece of content that you just know inside and out. Maybe it's a process you've perfected, a strategy that you've used successfully. Maybe it's a transformation you've helped people achieve. So it's like one piece of solid content that you could teach. So you're going to take that golden nugget and break it down into steps. So I teach something called the Course Creator Sweet Spot, and it has 4 quadrants. Like that's a piece of content that I teach. And with that, if I take that, I'm going to now spend the time and break it down step by step. What's the first thing they do? Well, it's the first quadrant. I'll explain it and tell them how to make some decisions there. Next, step 2, second quadrant. What is it? How to kind of navigate through that. So step by step, I take one piece of my content and I just walk it through step by step. And that right there is how I will teach it. And again, once you kind of get it into an outline and you kind of break it down, you can then flesh it out later when you're ready to record it. Maybe it starts with explaining what it is, then a teaching point, an actionable step or an exercise they need to do, and a summary and key takeaway. Like that's how then I break it up, this whole concept, and I could do individual lessons. So let's say the module, I'm making this up, is the Course Creator Sweet Spot. That's what the module is going to be about. I could do one lesson per module. So that way the lessons are short. I walk through each module with like, here's the step to take. Here's the action I want you to do. Here's a summary of the key takeaways. Like I could just have like a flow to each lesson, and it allows me to get it done so much quicker. So I tell you this because this does not need to be something that you spend months and months on creating. This is something that you could do sooner, faster than you actually think. You already know the content, and your whole goal is to strip it down and teach it in the most effective way. And again, you don't need to have the whole course created before you actually launch it. And also, I want to remind you that there are simple ways to create a course that you might not have thought about. So I've mentioned these students before on the podcast, but I want to bring them up again because this is a great example. So I have these 2 students, Alyssa and Katie. They're real estate agents, and they have a podcast for other agents as well. And on the podcast, one day they shared an Excel spreadsheet that they use in their business. And when they put it out there, their podcast listeners went wild. They're like, this is so good, so smart that you put together this spreadsheet the way you did. I think it was to get more clients. I could be wrong about that, but it was something they used in their business and their audience loved it. So they said, do you have more of these? Do you have other spreadsheets that you use in order to organize your business, get more clients, all that good stuff? And they thought, yeah, we have a lot of them. So their first digital course basically entailed all of their spreadsheets and then some explainer videos about the spreadsheets. That was the course. So they had a system that they used successfully in their business. They took those. They already use them. They didn't have to create anything from scratch. They put them into a course, did some explainer videos so people could use them effectively, and that's it. They have made over $1 million in sales in just 2 years. $1 million with Excel spreadsheets. So I tell you this to say, let it be easy. I don't think building a business is easy. I don't think building a digital course is easy. However, to hear me out, I just told you to let it be easy, and I told you I don't think it's easy. But I do think that we could do a better job of not making it such a big deal and allowing ourselves to take what we know and our knowledge and say, where could we serve with this? Where would this be helpful to other people? And how can I take the fluff out and make it as easy as possible for people to understand? I think most of us as entrepreneurs and content creators really tend to do too much. I'm totally guilty of this. And so how can you make it easy? That's my point. As you move through the steps of creating in launching your course, how can you let it be easy? The action items, the decisions you make, the flow that you follow. I tend to make things harder than they need to be. So I thought maybe you do too. And just reminding you, let it be easy. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to tell you about my students who let it be easy, created $1 million course. It's one of my most favorite stories. And the thing is, the beauty of digital courses is that they're not set in stone. You can always update, add, or refine your content as you go. So I mentioned this in another podcast, but I have Digital Course Academy. I've had it since 2019. I've launched it every single year. Every single year, it's become even more successful. And every other year, I re-record the entire program. I add new things. I change things. I make sure it's relevant. I do that every other year, and I have a system for that. So I have a program or a membership called Momentum. And my Momentum students, I taught them exactly how I refresh a program. There's a system that I use, and that makes it a whole lot easier. Okay, I want you to start with what you have, focus on delivering value, trust that it's enough, just like one of my students, Haley Winter. So I want you to hear from Haley Winter and how she overcame this myth that you have to put so much content and do so much more for your course. So let's go.
I've been teaching online since 2009, but I'd reached a point in my business where I really needed to work with someone who was a game changer in the digital course space, and someone who I felt understood me and my journey and could really help me take my life's work to the next level. And that's why I signed up for DCA. I had over 1,500 participants sign up for my first DCA-style webinar. And thanks to DCA, the retention rate was a crazy 100%. It was the most successful webinar I've ever done because I followed DCA-style launch to the letter. I've always had the creativity, the innovation, and the content of my expertise. But now, thanks to DCA, I have a clear roadmap with a really clear path ahead that's working for me. If you're at a point in your business where you need step-by-step support, and I've got to tell you, the support with DCA is phenomenal. And if you're looking for a tried and tested method to grow your business and sell your course content, it's DCA.
All right, my friend, I hope Haley's story has proven to you that you don't need a ton of content to create an amazing digital course. It's all about starting with what you have and then building from there. But I know that sometimes, even when you have that knowledge, taking the first step can be a little overwhelming. I think that's very normal. And so I know my students well, and I know my potential students well, where they get stuck and where it might be just scary to get going. So I've got something special for you that can help you ease the stress of jumping into something new like digital courses. Once a year, and only once a year, I offer the Course Confident Bootcamp. And the Course Confident Bootcamp, it's one of the cheapest things I offer. It's $47. And for 5 days, I am live in this bootcamp teaching the first steps and decisions you need to make to create your digital course. Essentially, it's the first 4 things that you need to know about, make decisions around, and really take action on to get the ball rolling. And through these different strategies I'm going to teach you, you're going to start to see, like, do I want to create a course? Is this the right decision for me? Does it fit in my business? And I start answering a lot of those questions so you can see how a digital course can enhance the business you have or start a business from scratch, and give you the actual steps to get going. I'm all about taking baby steps, and this is like a really great way to get started without overwhelming yourself. So if you want to nail down your course idea, make sure it's going to be a successful one. If you want to talk about the type of course you're going to create, how to price it, how to grow your email list around it, like, we're covering it all. So again, the bootcamp is once a year. It's happening soon. Go to amyporterfield.com/bootcamp so that you can get in there and start your digital course journey the right way without a lot of overwhelm or confusion. So if you ever overthink things, if you tend to get stuck, if you tend to get overwhelmed easily, or just you hate starting from scratch, this is the bootcamp for you. I will absolutely help you move through the things you need to know to get your course out into the world. Think clarity, confidence, focus. That's what this is all about, with real proven strategies that I teach my students every single day. amyporterfield.com/bootcamp. I would love to see you in there. It's a great community. Not only will I be teaching live, doing lots of Q's and A's, and also there's a huge community of other people creating their courses as well. So you can find your people and be a little less lonely on this journey. So there you go, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. I cannot wait, hopefully, to see you in the bootcamp, amyporterfield.com/bootcamp. And I just hope you know that you can do this. You absolutely have what it takes to create a digital course. And I would absolutely love to guide you every step of the way. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you Thursday for more entrepreneurial goodness. Bye for now.